So I'm going to go through some, if you're a salesman, I'm going to go through a little bit of car sales stuff for you now. I think quite a lot of this is applicable to any incentivized employment. So commission work or anything like that. If you're self-employed, I think you'll find this useful as well. So number one, have a sales journey. I once upon a time had a job selling holiday lodges. It was terrible. It was during a recession, so you made absolutely no money. It was very bad. My manager as well, we didn't get on. I'm willing to accept maybe some of that was my fault, but there is definitely some blame at her feet as well. But it was a very, very tough job on the pair of us because no one was buying, and that was very stressful. But she had a very good bit of advice for me, and she made me do this, and it was called a sales journey. So don't have such a rigid funnel that you are like forcing people into the car at this point. You're forcing people to look at the numbers at this point, right? I certainly would never let a customer take total control of the direction of where things are going, but have like certain points that are just hit as you go through the journey. Have like, right, this is the point at which I want to show you around the car, that kind of thing. Like, say certain things like, cool, so what we're going to do now, that works really well. Like, oh, what I need from you now, you need to speak quite assertively. What I need from you now, what we're going to do now, and then when you're like, when you've built a bit of rapport, basically, and you need that sort of natural charisma if you are going to be good at sales. But when you've built that rapport, a really good bit of advice is when you're about to go out on a test drive, whether you're joining them or not, you want to say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go out of here. We're going to take a left. We're going to just go over that roundabout, and then that's our test drive route. And I'll take you guys, if you're not familiar with the area, I'll take you guys all the way through. No stupid questions. But guys, when you come back, and I'm just warning you, make a bit of a joke out of this. Guys, when you come back, I'm just warning you, you are going to be in love with this car. That is sales gold. Saying that sort of thing works really well. Now there's a little bit of what is called neuro-linguistic programming with that, which is where you're kind of priming somebody to now be looking for confirmation bias in that, yeah, I am going to love this car. And they're now going to be looking for, oh, I really like this. So someone who has never driven automatic before and is now moving into a manual, if you say like, if you can be a bit more specific than you're going to be in love with this car, and you say something along the lines of, just warning you guys, you never want to go back to manual. You're going to be in love with automatics after this point. Like, that works really well. Maybe even back it up with a few stories. If you're watching this and you're not in sales, you might hear this kind of thing. The reason that salesman tells you these stories is because a lot of the time they are actually true. Maybe not every single one is, but I can say from experience, I have a lot of customers that test drive an automatic. They like it, they spend 10 minutes getting used to it, and then they enjoy it. Right? It takes them 10 minutes to get used to it, and then they're like, oh, that's brilliant. I've picked up customers from salesmen who have left the dealership now. That customer's on a PCP or a lease. They come back. Oh yeah, that was my first automatic. I'm never going back to manual. Use a third-party story like that, and it is effective. And if it's true, then you can say that kind of thing. It's good. Next up as well, deposit. You need to get the deposit on the day. I started going into this in a little bit of detail in that last video, but if you go through that sales journey, they're sat down at your desk, then, when I say do everything you can to get the deposit, I don't mean be super desperate, but like you need the deposit then, right? Don't act super desperate. You need to remain in control, and you need to remain relaxed and comfortable. But getting the deposit then and there. If you are someone who hears, or we'll get back to you tomorrow, and you let people walk away, you're probably someone that doesn't make a lot of sales. Just being honest. Now, when it comes to someone saying, we just think about it, offer like, well, look, I appreciate that, guys. And I appreciate that you've probably been told by your parents, never buy on the day, always go and shop around, that kind of thing. But if I can save you guys the rest of your weekend, do you want me to see if I can just change your mind? just be a bit ballsy and say something like that, right? Just be honest with them. Do you want me to see? Is it okay with you if I just try and change your mind on that? And if they say yes, brilliant. I've had people say yes and I have changed their mind. I've had people say no and they have changed their mind, right? And I've had people say yes and it hasn't changed their mind. Rather, sorry. It's quite. But all those people that said yes after they'd said I won't buy, and then they've said yes, I'll let you change my mind, and then they have had their mind changed and bought on the day. That is a sale that I wouldn't have made otherwise. You can't listen to everything that they say. I've just pulled into work, so I'm gonna give you some more, sales tips in a minute.